Hello, sir.
Hey,
I got one of those too.
wow, we got more people in here today.
Let's do it. Open it up.
Admits. Oh, there are a lot of note takers.
Of course there are. Hey, Frank, how's it going? Jen, you get to
Hey,
see us.
Hey,
You get to see us.
Ermos.
How's it going? You get to see us twice today, Jen.
yeah, right. Well, I'm getting a snack right now, so you know.
Fantastic. We're just waiting for just a few people to join here.
And I
Moving
just
the.
emailed you guys, but I'll just bring it up on the call too.
Yeah, for sure. This one or the next one?
Maybe both.
Okay. Oh, Andy, you got a note taker too. This is being recorded 3 ways from Sunday. Should I
Yeah,
decline
but
it?
mine's Fathom. That's okay.
Okay, I'll approve it. That's fine. Are you telling me
Okay.
they're
I
all
think
note takers except for Frank and Jen?
no, Chris is here, I think.
Okay, he hasn't popped in yet. It shouldn't take this long to get everybody in here. Oh, there's Chris. Hey, Frank. Good to see you.
Good to see you, Ermos.
Insight
This
information.
meeting is being captured. Notify your host to disable.
Oh, I don't know what that is. Is that meeting notes? Who's
Insight.
Insight Financial?
Yeah, let's kick that one out.
All right.
Sorry, Aaron.
Remove. All right.
All right. Let's get started. I mean, this is kind of an open forum, right? I'm not sure if any one of you were on the call yesterday. I thought that was fire. I know the feedback was great from what we got. I don't know. Frank, I'm pretty sure I saw you posting yesterday. So you were there? Jen, were you on that call? Or Chris?
No, I
No,
wasn't on the call yesterday.
Oh, okay. Chris,
no,
you saw
I
it?
was
I
on it.
started on it and had to jump off. So
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's recorded, Andy.
okay.
Yeah, it's
And
going to be distributed. It'll be distributed on the Planswell Advisor HQ somewhere, and they'll do some editing as well. We can probably post it in CAA as well,
I
since
think
it's
we
not really,
should.
yeah, it's not branded Planswell, so it's kind of generic.
Yeah.
So it's
There's some great sound bites in there too from both of them. They did a great job.
excellent. Welcome, Bill. I think it's the first time we've seen you here. Um, yeah, so I mean, you know, this is really just an open forum, kind of like ask us anything. So you can basically bring up anything unless, Ermos, you have something specific that you want to address.
Well, I mean, there's always something we can talk about, but I would love to be able to help advisors. So I assume everyone's here for a reason. Maybe we'll open up that way first, and then we can maybe talk about some other stuff. Bill, you're kind of the new person here. Do you have any questions, or how can we help?
Well, thank you. I have been following you. I guess I'm on your emails list, and I'm getting your information. And I just wanted to listen in and hear about some of your strategies on sales, overcoming objections, those kind of things.
Okay. Is that something you're struggling with right now, Bill? Is overcoming objections?
Yes.
Do you want to give me an example of maybe one that you having problems overcoming?
Oh, you know the common one. I need to think about it. That's
Okay.
what I'm usually hearing sometimes.
So, Bill, what stage is that?
That's after the initial meeting, initial consultation. You know, I talk about my services, talk about my price point, and then they, in some cases, well, I need to think about it, or I need to talk to my wife, or something like that.
Okay, and
I
what
could
what do
see
you
Andy just ready to
currently
pounce
say?
on that.
Oh yeah, what do you currently say when they say that?
Well, I ask, well, is there anything in particular, you need to think on, anything I can explain better, or or is that mask, I sort of ask that, what is your concern, or what is it that, you need to think about?
Okay. Um, What do you think it is?
A lot of times I think it's price, but I
It's
have my
okay.
prices listed on my website, and I just think that is the reason that some people are hesitant or need to think about it. That's what I hear. That's what they're telling me.
So, Bill, do
Well,
you think?
right.
Oh,
Go
sorry,
ahead,
I'll let you.
Ermos.
I
No,
was
no,
just
go
going
ahead.
to ask. So, you think you're expensive?
No, I don't. I mean,
Okay.
compared to other financial planners, I don't think that I'm expensive, but I just think that maybe people haven't priced around or haven't checked, but my prices I think are reasonable.
Okay.
They're not, I'm definitely not on the high end at all. I don't do assets under management. I do flat fee. Um, and for my services that we offer, I think it's reasonable because you know, um, it's for 1 year and includes unlimited consultations. So there's no limit where they can say, oh, I can only talk to you twice a year or 4 times a year.
Okay.
Um,
So, Bill, I can assure you it's not the price, even though you're hearing price. Price is it's like a fake objection. It's not even a thing because I've worked with advisors where we've actually doubled and tripled their fees, and it had zero negative impact in their closing ratios. So I can guarantee you it's not the price. They're saying price because they're just looking for an excuse or a reason to say no politely. So I might give you a couple of suggestions. So right now, um, what would you say that you do for your average client? Like if I'm your average client, do you have a niche, by the way?
I work mostly with real estate investors.
Real estate investors. Okay, so these are people that are
Yes.
buying multiple units and then that's where they make their money.
Yes, some have multiple single families. Some are doing flips.
Okay.
Some have short-term rentals.
Okay. So what do you do for them? Like what are one or two things? I mean, because you're kind of niching, I would imagine that there's some sort of commonality between most, if not all of them. What are the one or two things that you help people the most with?
Well, what I'm seeing is that a lot of times real estate investors focus solely on that. They either don't have any investments in the market or they have very little. But besides doing, I provide help with retirement planning, so I can run the numbers and say, hey, if you have this many houses, what we do is we start off with their cash flow. We look at, how much money they have coming in, W-2 job, rental properties, et cetera. How much money do they have going out? So I get a baseline of, what their spending is. And then we focus on whatever their goals are. Sometimes that goal is I want to buy more properties, or I want to retire early and do financial independence, retire early. Or sometimes they're
Yeah.
looking for retirement planning. So it's a combination of, cash flow and retirement planning.
Okay. So what would you say that if I'm your average client, uh, what would be the value? Like why would I want to work with you, Bill? Like, are you saving me money in taxes?
Yes. So, part of my, business is also doing tax preparation and tax planning. So, yes, I can definitely save them on
Okay.
taxes, and I explain that, you know, um, and that's one of the services I offer. I can review your tax return to see if you're missing any deductions or credits, based on what your previous accountant, prepared. Um,
Hey, sorry, Bill, I'm gonna cut you off because you sound like an advisor right now, and I'd rather you talk to me like a person. I understand we're advisors, and by the way, I say this respectfully. I'm just trying to show like this may be where you're going a little bit wrong because you're coming across like everybody else. So let me ask you a very specific question. If I'm your average client, how much taxes do you think you would save me in a year, for instance? Because I'm coming to you, I'm probably doing some things wrong. You're the expert. You're gonna work your magic, and then at some point there's gonna be some sort of tax savings. Am I correct?
yes,
What would that number be? Just ballpark.
3 to 5 thousand.
3 to 5 thousand. Okay. And then if I have $100,000 of investments, what are your fees to me?
I have a flat fee. I don't do AUM, so I have a
Okay,
flat fee
sure. What's
for
your
my
flat fee?
service.
How much
It's
is your
three
flat?
thousand dollars.
Okay.
$3,000 for 12 months.
Okay. So this is an easy question then. So if you're saving me $5,000, and to get those savings, I have to pay you 3, then do you really have a cost, or am I actually investing in your services? Because as far as I'm concerned, if I put 3,000 somewhere and it becomes 5, that's not a cost to me. Would you agree?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to flip this around a little bit. I'm going to pass it over to Andy, or if somebody else wants to go in. But one quick thing, and this is a little bit complicated, Bill, but I'm just going to give you one example. When somebody asks for how much you charge, you got to flip it and say, your investment in my services will be X, right? But if you're talking to somebody, what you want to do is you want to show them what happens if they don't work with you. Most advisors would say, if you work with me, you're going to save $5,000, right? What you should be doing is flipping it around and making a cost of inaction and saying, if you do not take these steps that I'm recommending today, you will lose $5,000 in taxes. And if you continue to not use these strategies or whatever it is that you do, Bill, you will continue to lose $5,000 a year in unnecessary taxes, like every single year going forward. And then ask the question, like, how does that make you feel? Because this isn't rocket science, Bill. This is just human nature. We know as a fact that people are more prone to act to avoid pain than they are to gain pleasure. And most advisors talk about gains, rates, ROI, or how much tax I'm going to save you. But if you talk about how much taxes they're going to lose by not working with you, that's a far more impactful statement. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Okay. Andy, do you want to throw something in there?
Oh, you betcha. And I was going to go the same route as you, but I wanted to sort of address the whole let me think about it. And I'm sure this is relatable to everybody here. The first thing that you want to do, and this follows that same ACT thing that I constantly say as a broken record, right? Acknowledge and agree, connect and transition, right? So the acknowledgement part is really comes down to acknowledging, that they want to wait. Hey, that's totally fine, right? This is a big decision. You seem like somebody who wants to make thoughtful decisions, not rushed ones. I totally get it. So how about how much time do you think you need to talk it over with your spouse? In terms of days. Book the next time that you're going to meet, because now the prospect feels at ease that they're not going to get backed into a corner or pressured, right? And now you have something in the books, right? Oh, our rule is bam, fam, book a meeting from a meeting. So now you already have that next connection time, right? Maybe even suggest that the spouse attends that as well, right? And then you ask the question of, just out of curiosity, and maybe so I can send you information between now and then, what do you think you need to mull over? Or what do you think your spouse would have concerns about with this approach? What is it that you did like about it and you do feel might be a good fit, which now leads to what do you not feel as confident about? And that's now sets the stage to discuss it right there and then. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. So this is all about just being relaxed, right? Because the
Very
second that
nice.
the moment that you start even triggered in your own self, in your own mind, that I want to get the close, I want to get the client, I want this done, it switches something, the energy, the frequency at which you're operating on. If you are just relaxed, right? Because really what people are paying us for as advisors is certainty and clarity and confidence. So the moment that you do anything to mess those things up, you are losing. You're now going, slower and slower to that cliff or off-roading here, right? People want to deal with people that seem like they've seen and heard and done it all. and that they're confident and that the likelihood of achievement is high, right? So when an advisor starts, I'm not suggesting that you were panicking or anything, Bill, but I'll bet you when you heard, let me think about it, there was this moment of, oh, damn, right? What, I don't know what else to do, or they're getting me on price, and what do I say? Right. And as Ermos immediately alluded to, which is where I was going, was it's not because they think the price is too high. They have not seen the value in investing in your services. There's some part that isn't clear there, or the likelihood of achievement is they're not feeling rock solid on it. Or maybe there's something they didn't understand. And nobody should make a concrete decision on something that they don't completely understand. It's never about the price, right? Because if you charged, you could even ask the question. So if I was completely free, my services for you, or the investment in working with me was $0, would you do it? If the answer is yes, then you've kind of isolated down that they're just worried that they're going to get a return on investing with you. And you can now go down that channel. Because now you can say, okay, so that means you do understand this and whatever. So help me understand that it being free versus the investment and working with me is 1% or whatever it is.
3,000.
Help me understand that gap. Right? So that you're making it like, hey, you're not pressuring them to give you an answer and justify their position. You're asking them to help you understand them.
Okay.
Do you have a lot of conversations around fees, Bill?
Yeah, sometimes they, have, they ask the fee, I tell them the fee, and then, there is some
Investment.
hesitance,
Let's start right now. Let's stop calling it a fee. It's not a fee for your service. It's an investment. Okay, compliance aside, it's an investment in your services. So get used to calling it that, even if somebody says fees. So if somebody says, Bill, how much does this is your service cost? I would correct them and say, your investment in my services is $3,000. However, I've already identified 2 strategies that's going to save you $5,000 in tax. Now, I'm a big fan of analogies, but if there was a magical machine that every time you put $3 in, $5 came out, how many times would you put your $3 in? As much as possible, right?
Yeah.
But that's effectively what you're offering them. You're basically offering them $2,000 profit for working with you. Am I correct in my assumption?
Yep.
And by the way, that's just quantifying in dollars. I'm sure there's a heck of a lot more value that you're providing, peace of mind, proper tax structure. Who knows? Maybe you're setting up corporations or whatever it is. I'm sure you're doing a whole bunch of other stuff which adds additional value. But if they want to talk fees, then you talk about here is quantifiably how much money I'm going to save you, and that money that I'm saving you is higher than my investment. And then you should never lose. Like you should never lose anyone on price because it makes no sense. Like who wouldn't take $5,000 by putting $3,000 down? Like you should have 100% close rate on those people.
Let me give a little clarity there for everybody here and why we are so adamant about making that distinction between a fee or charge or whatever and working with you as an investment. There is a big difference between an expense and an investment. An expense is something that you pay for the utility of something that you need. Toilet paper is an expense. There's no return. There's nothing coming back other than a less dirty butt that with toilet paper. That's an expense. And anything that somebody does that there is a potential payoff or payback on is an investment. So you are doing yourself a disservice of thinking of what you do as an expense to the client. And fees and charges fall into that category. So really get that out of your head. all of you that what you do is an expense. It is not. Right? Would you consider insurance, honestly, an expense? Especially if somebody has to make a claim in the future? Was it an expense? Or was it an investment in protecting their future? Not an expense.
Is that helpful, Bill?
Yes, it is.
Awesome. Do you have any follow-up questions?
Nope.
Okay. We can talk about pain points in a second, but I want to make sure if somebody else has a burning question, I want to get to that. So Frank, Jen, Chris, or Juan Carlos, if you have a question, we'd love to answer that for you.
I thought that
Or
was
another
really
objection.
good.
Or another objection. Chris, sorry, you were saying
No,
something?
I just thought that was a really good way to put that in the investment part. So
Okay.
thank you.
You shouldn't be surprised, Chris. You've been exposed to us for quite some time now.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think just the way I like the example of the 3,000 in, 5,000 out, because that really is what it is that you're about to get more benefit than what you paid. So
Yeah.
thank you.
If there's any benefit, it's an investment.
Sorry.
I think
Go ahead, Frank.
Frank has a question.
Can I follow up with Bill? I'm not sure where Bill is, if he's in the States or Canada, whatever. And I don't do fee-based. I do AUM and insurance, but obviously fee-based is the direction is becoming much more popular than in the States here, the AUM. So it's a good direction. If I was younger, I'm over 30 years old. It's hard to tell, but if I was younger, I probably would do fee only. But and just again, I'm no expert at this. I'm working on it myself. I'm a work in progress. Even though I've been doing this a long time, I don't know if this would help Bill or not. But I'm working on a schedule, a service schedule. I call it Core and Premier, and it actually I learn visually like a lot of us do. You can say something, but when I see it, I retain it better and learn better. But I don't know if this would help Bill or not, but actually sharing a list with a prospect or a client of all the things that I do for them, you know, and we can say it verbally, but I know myself when I hear stuff, it's like a fire hose, right? Like what we're doing now with plans. Well, I don't retain everything. I get, obviously learn a lot by doing all this stuff with Andy and Ermos and everybody else, even though it has nothing to do with me. Like Bill does something very different. I've learned a couple things based on what, Bill's challenges, but and your recommendations, your advice. But I'm not sure this would help Bill at all, having a schedule of all the things he does based on his fee only structure and to share with a client, but whatever that's worth.
I do already. When I meet
Okay.
with my clients, I already have like a chart of the different, areas that I can help with cash flow or retirement planning, estate planning, insurance planning. And then under these like categories, I have subcategories, where we'll talk about, budgeting, improving credit score, looking at retirement cash flow, looking at Social Security, 401ks, pensions, and running the numbers. So, or helping them create an estate plan, helping create a will or a trust. So I do have a list of all of the different areas I help them with, and then the subcategories, beneath those.
Wow. Bill, I would suggest you're actually charging too little. I may say something. That's a lot of stuff that you're doing.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. If anything, you're undercharging. So hopefully with the advice you got today, that my hope is that your fees will never be an issue again.
Okay, I think so. That definitely helped.
Just since we probably aren't going to get onto something else here.
But I did want to add
Ermos,
one thing, Andy, because Frank brought up the list. Guys, if you guys go into the community and look up fee clarity review, there's actually a strategy that you can actually use when you have that list. Because
I was just trying to
we're up
find that.
Sorry?
I was just trying to find that actually,
Okay.
but I think
It's
in
in there somewhere.
CAA, I think in CAA you ask people to message you. I don't think it lives in CAA because I'm looking for it now.
Oh, then I'm sorry.
But Ermos, you had this is just finishing off, Bill, and I do have to go in 4 minutes, but I remember you telling a story of somebody that was concerned about the price, and they did a fee base as well. And in fact, you actually got him to raise his prices, right? Wasn't that trying to think of his name?
Are you talking to me, Andy?
Yeah. You were working with somebody that you actually got him to raise his prices.
Yeah, a couple people. There was Eli, and there was the other gentleman.
Eli.
Yeah, there's also another gentleman from LA, the guy with the long hair who then cut it. I can't remember. I forgot his name.
Roy.
Sorry, Roy. Yeah,
Was it Roy?
he tripled it. He was charging 200 a month for his financial planning services. Charging. The investment was 200 a month. We ended up doing it at 600, and his closing rate did not change. It was still the same, and he basically tripled his income for doing the same amount of work.
And I
So
think part of that is attributed to being clearer at the value and the cost of inaction,
yeah,
right? This is the thing, Bill, to just rehash, but I think it's relevant to everybody. If somebody is very clear at the value they're going to get and the cost of doing nothing, not just financially, but time wasted, it becomes less and less of a no-brainer, or sorry, more of a no-brainer to do something and do something now instead of sitting on the fence, right? But we have to remember human nature, that people are more terrified about making the wrong decision as opposed to making a decision, right? They'd rather do nothing than make the wrong decision. And that's absolutely absurd and illogical, right? And so it's also recognizing that and understanding it and normalizing it. So for everybody, whenever you get any kind of objection, and I will point out, let me think about it, is an actual objection. Not interested, and I was just fooling around, like earlier in the stage, is a resistance brush off statement. There is a difference. Let me think about it after you've presented what you're going to offer is a legit objection, but it's still the same. You've got to acknowledge it and normalize it and say, hey, I totally understand. Lots of people feel the same way. It's a big decision. I get it. Blah, 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 blah. Book the next step, right? And then circle back and do more exploration right at the moment. I can't tell you how many times where somebody gave me that, that hesitation and all those kind of things. And I did that exact thing, but we got it out on the table right then and there after that. And my opinion on let me think about it is one of two things, actually three. One, they don't trust you. And I don't mean that you're not trustworthy. They don't trust that you can do what you can say that you can do, or that they're going to get that result, or they didn't understand something that you said. And option three is a combination of those two things. There's nothing else that's real other than those three things, right? So you have to ask yourself in every situation where you've heard that, let me think about it, which do you think it was? Was it one, they didn't actually believe that you could do all the things that you were doing and trust that you trust you at your word? And if that's the case, did you do enough to establish that trust and understanding? Or did they not understand something? What did you speak in a way that was too much information or too convoluted or too intense? Or is it potentially a combination of those two things? And I bet you if you do that, you will be able to identify and pinpoint what happened and why they're potentially ghosting you now.
Okay.
and with that, we have reached time.
Yep, I have to drop. Thanks, guys.
All right, guys,
I've got
thank you
an
so
appointment.
much. Bill, thank you
Yes.
for asking the question. I hope everyone got something out of it today.
No, thank you. I just absolutely did. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right,
Take it
everyone,
easy.
our pleasure. Take care.
Ciao.